I still remember that morning like it just happened. The red and blue lights flashing across my 100-year-old barn made it look like some twisted rave for ghosts and regrets. I was standing there, mud on my boots, coffee in one hand, and a crisp $1 bill in the other, watching Penny, the self-declared queen of the Harmony Ridge HOA, scream her lungs out like the sky was falling. Her face? A mess of disbelief and rage, the kind that makes you wonder how someone like that ever felt powerful in the first place. But hey, you're probably wondering, how the hell did I end up in a standoff with the HOA president, 2 sheriff's deputies, and the county sheriff all over a single dollar? Well, strap in. This story's got everything: land wars, drones, ancient deeds, and a 10-foot metal rooster. See, it all started with that rooster. My granddad won that thing in a poker game back in '78. It was ugly as sin, made of rusted scrap, and stood proud right at the edge of our 300-acre family ranch like it was daring the world to care. For decades, it just stood there, minding its business. Then Harmony Ridge happened. They clear-cut the woods next door and threw up 200 beige houses, all cloned from the same boring blueprint. Called it a luxury community. And with it came the HOA. And Penny, the kind of woman who holds a clipboard like it's a weapon and wears pastel athleisure like it's armor. She showed up at my gate one Tuesday while I was elbow-deep fixing a busted fence post. "Excuse me," she said, voice sugar-slick and sharp. "I'm Penelope, president of the Harmony Ridge Homeowners Association. Are you the owner of this parcel?" She waved her manicured hand at my land like it was some overgrown lawn she was about to tame. I told her, yeah, my great-great-grandfather settled it during a land grant, and we've worked it ever since. Didn't bother cleaning the mud off my hands. She didn't like that much. "Well," she said, handing me a thick binder, "this is your welcome packet, along with a list of preliminary violations." Violations? On my own land? She pointed at my rusty rooster. "That'll be the first thing to go. It violates Section 14, subsection B of Community Standards." That rooster had more seniority than her entire subdivision. But I didn't argue. Cousin Eli, he's a lawyer, once told me, "Don't fight 'em. Let 'em bury themselves. Just document everything." So I took the binder, smiled, and told her I'd look into it. Over the next few months, the letters came non-stop. The barn's shade of red wasn't approved. My cattle fence wasn't aesthetically appropriate. I filed every single one, never responded, never flinched. See, Penny thought I was just some backwoods bumpkin who didn't understand how the world worked. What she didn't know is that I spend my winters reading case law for fun, and that the original, federally recorded deed from 1912 sits in a fireproof box in my study. Her mistake was thinking her HOA binder outranked the law. Then came the fines. $50 for the rooster, $100 for the barn, more for non-compliant grass height, whatever that means on a working ranch. I let 'em pile up. All the while, I kept digging. I pulled records, talked to old neighbors, and eventually found what I needed. My land boundaries, legally drawn and backed by satellite-confirmed surveys. Turns out, the entire Harmony Ridge development was built on bad surveying. Their developer, some guy named Sterling, used a shortcut survey that ignored the original federal plat, which meant every house, every road, every manicured lawn was sitting smack on my family's land. But I didn't tell him. Not yet. I waited. Then one day, I got the letter. Certified mail. Penny and her little board had voted to place a lien on my ranch. Said I was a chronic nuisance, and if I didn't pay the fines, they'd foreclose and auction it off. Cousin Eli laughed so hard he choked on his sandwich. He said, "They can't do that. They don't have jurisdiction." Exactly. So we let them try. They set the auction, put a tiny notice in the paper, used a no-name auctioneer who didn't even set a reserve price, and that's where it all came together. Auction day was a perfect fall Saturday. Penny was dressed like she was going to a coronation. She was glowing. She thought she'd finally broken me. Sheriff Callahan was there too. He'd been dealing with her noise complaints and petty grievances for months. He leaned on his cruiser, arms crossed, ready for the show. The auctioneer tried to get the bidding going. $20,000? Silence. $10,000? Nothing. $5,000? Nope. No one bit. You see, I'd quietly warned all the local ranchers and developers that the title was a legal mess, that whoever bought it would be buying a lawsuit. They listened. So when the auctioneer practically begged, "Do I hear $100?" I stepped forward, raised my paddle, and said, $1. Dead silence. "That's not legal," Penny screamed. "It's the only bid," the auctioneer said. "Sold to bidder 17. I walked up, handed him the crisp $1 bill, and smiled. Penny turned purple. She screamed she was calling the cops. Sheriff Callahan stepped forward. "Ma'am, I am the cops." But I wasn't done. I pulled out my documents, my survey map, and the 1912 deed, and laid them right there on the hood of his cruiser. "Sheriff, this is my land, always has been." He looked at the maps. He saw the red boundary lines, and then he saw the faint outlines of Harmony Ridge, all inside my border. Penny's mouth dropped. "That's not possible," she hissed. "We have deeds." "Yeah, deeds to houses built on land you don't own. The developer never fixed the title. Judge ordered him to 30 years ago. He ignored it, built anyway." Then Eli's process server arrived, handed Penny her copy of the lawsuit. Trespass, slander of title, illegal foreclosure attempt. Then he handed out notices to the rest of the HOA board and the residents. Panic hit them like a brick wall. People were crying, shouting, pulling out phones. Penny just stood there, summons in hand, looking like she'd just watched her kingdom sink into the dirt, which she had. But I wasn't trying to kick 200 families off their land. That wasn't the point. What I wanted was the truth out in the open and a seat at the table. 2 days later, there was a meeting. Penny tried to run it, but her reign was over. The crowd booed her off the stage. People wanted answers. They wanted her gone. And they wanted a deal. So, Eli gave them one. Each homeowner could lease the land their house sat on for $1 a year for 99 years. There was one condition. The HOA had to be permanently dissolved. No more covenants, no more fines for mailbox color or lawn gnomes, no more Penny. They voted that night, unanimous. Penny moved out a month later, sold her house at a loss. Word is she's in a condo now under even stricter HOA. Seems fitting. As for me, that evening I walked out to the edge of my ranch with a cold beer, leaned on the same old post where this all started, and watched the sun bounce off that rusty rooster's back. It used to just be an eyesore. Now, it's a monument, a reminder that the law lives in the land, not in some binder full of rules printed on pastel paper. And all it cost me was $1. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had to stand up to a clipboard tyrant? What would you have done in my boots? I want to hear your stories. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's tangled with an HOA, because sometimes all it takes to win is patience and a well-timed dollar bill.